Hi students, in this video we are going to see chapter 7, control and coordination. First we are going to see control and coordination in animals. In animals, both control and coordination are provided by two types of cells. One is nervous tissues, another one is muscular tissues. A single cell of nervous tissue is called neurons or nerve cells. Nervous tissues are responsible of conveying messages from the environment to the brain and from again brain to the muscular tissues. Muscular tissues are responsible for responding to the stimulus, and all the information from the environment are detected by specialized tips of nerve cells called receptors. These receptors are present in all the sense organs like eyes, nose, ears, tongue and skin. They are responsible for these receptors which is present in the sense organs or responsible for receiving the information from the environment. Next, see, this is the structure of nerve cell, or this is the structure of neuron. Dendrites, cell body, axon, axonal end. And the first information are received by these dendrites and then to cell body, from cell body to axon, and from axon to axonal end, and from this axonal end it moves from one neuron or one nerve cell to another nerve cell, then finally to the brain, and brain send information to the muscle to respond to the stimulus through these network of neurons. And pathway of travel of nerve impulses: dendrites, cell body, axon and axonal end. So this is the structure of neuron or nerve cell. Next, reflex action. Reflex action is unconscious, automatic, involuntary response of effectors to the stimulus. Effectors is nothing but our muscles. Reflex arc. Reflex arc is the pathway through which nerve impulse passes during reflex action. Next, we are going to see the pathway of reflex action and reflex arc. The stimulus is received by the sensory organs where receptors are present, and that is traveled and that is captured by sensory neurons. From sensory neurons it goes to interneurons, and from interneurons it reaches the synapse. Synapse is the gap between two neurons, and that is received by motor neurons, and from the motor neurons or the muscle cells which finally respond to the stimulus. Next, we are going to see functions of human nervous system. Human nervous system is composed of two main systems. One is central nervous system, another one is peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system is composed of two components. One is brain, another one is spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system is composed of two nerves, cranial nerves, and another one is spinal nerves. Cranial nerves arise from the brain and spinal nerves arise from the spinal cord. First, we'll see about functions of human brain. Human brain is the main coordinating center of the body, which is composed of three parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain is a complex and specialized part of the brain which consists of cerebrum. The function of forebrain are: it is the main thinking part of the brain. It controls voluntary actions, stores information, and it receives sensory impulses from all parts of the body, and finally it integrates it. And also it is the center which is associated with hunger. Next one is midbrain. The function of midbrain is it controls the involuntary actions. Third one is hindbrain. It has three parts: cerebellum, medulla and pons. Cerebellum, it controls posture and balance of the body. Medulla oblongata, it controls involuntary actions like blood pressure, salivation and vomiting. Pons, it controls the voluntary action and also it helps in the regulation of respiration. Next is spinal cord. Spinal cord is a cylindrical structure which extends from medulla oblongata of a brain to vertebral column, lumbar region of vertebral column. The function of spinal cord is transmission of nerve signals and reflex action. And next topic is we are going to see how brain and spinal cord are protected. Both brain and spinal cord are protected by a bone. The bone which protects the brain is called skull. The bone which protects the spinal cord is called vertebral column. Next, both the brain and spinal cord are cushioned by a special membranes called meninges and a special fluid called cerebrospinal fluid. This cerebrospinal fluid provides shock absorption. This is how both the brain and spinal cord are protected. And next topic is hormones in animals. Hormones are chemical substances which are responsible for controlling and coordinating the activities of all living organisms. Human endocrine glands and their hormones are, first one, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, adrenal gland, pancreas, testis and ovary. First one is hypothalamus. It secretes two hormones. One is releasing hormone and another one is growth inhibiting hormones. And the functions are, it regulates the secretions of pituitary gland. Second gland is pituitary gland. It is also called master gland because it controls all the activity of other endocrine glands. And also it is associated with brain. It secretes 5 hormones: growth hormone, trophic hormone, prolactin hormone, vasopressin hormone and oxytocin hormone. Now we are going to see its function. The function is, it is responsible for body growth, development of bones and muscles, and the excess secretion of its hormone leads to gigantism and less secretion of its growth hormone leads to dwarfism. Third one is thyroid gland. It secretes a hormone called thyroxine, and function of thyroxine is it regulates carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism. Second function, it is responsible for formation of RBC, regulates calcium level and also it regulates basal metabolic rate. Fourth gland is adrenal gland. It secretes 3 hormones: adrenaline, corticoid and noradrenaline. Functions, it regulates blood pressure, heartbeat and breathing rate. It also regulates carbohydrate metabolism and it is secreted during emergency. The enzyme adrenaline is called emergency hormone. Next, fifth hormone is called pancreas. It secretes 2 types of hormone. One is insulin, another one is glucagon. Insulin and glucagon both are responsible for maintaining or regulating blood sugar level in the blood. But both are insulin and glucagon are antagonistic because insulin are responsible for lowering the blood sugar level and glucagon are responsible for increasing the blood glucose level. Insulin lowers the blood glucose level when it is high. This glucagon increases the blood glucose level when it is low. Next is testis. It secretes 2 hormones, testosterone and androgen. Functions, it is responsible for all changes takes place during adolescence and puberty in boys, development of male reproductive organs and sperm production. Last one is ovary. Ovary secretes 2 hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. Function of estrogen and progesterone is it is responsible for changes in girls during puberty and adolescence and development of female reproductive organs and also egg production. And this progesterone is also called pregnancy hormone because it controls the changes of uterus during menstrual cycle, and also it supports pregnancy and also lactation after delivery. Next, we are going to see hormones in plants. There are 5 important hormones we are going to study under this topic. One is auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid and ethylene. First one is auxin. We are going to see functions of all these hormones. Functions of auxins: promote cell elongation, formation of root and seedless fruits. It also promotes growth. And also auxin is sensitive to light. It is responsible for bending of stem. Second one is functions of gibberellins. It is also called growth promoter because it helps in the growth of stem and flower. And also it helps in the germination of seed, and also it helps in overcoming genetical dwarfism in plants. Third one is cytokinins, and their functions are: it regulates phloem transport. Phloem, you know, it is a vessel, transporting vessel, which helps in conducting food materials. Second one, it promotes cell division. It promotes delay aging of leaf, and also it stimulates leaf expansion. Fourth one is function of abscisic acid, and it is also called stress hormone because it is secreted during stress condition like drought, too cold, and also it is called stress hormone, and also called growth inhibitor because it inhibits the growth. And last one is functions of ethylene, and it is called, this ethylene is called ripening hormone because it is essential for fruit ripening, and also it promotes senescence and abscission of leaves. And the last topic in this chapter is plant movements. Plant movement is a trophic movements which the plant, part of the plant move towards the stimulus. We are going to see 4 types of movement under this topic. One is phototropism, geotropism, hydrotropism and chemotropism. Phototropism. Phototropism is movement of plant part towards or away the light. Sunlight is called phototropism. Towards the light is positive geotropism. Example, shoot system. Shoot system grows towards the sunlight. Positive geotropism is root system. Negative phototropism is root system because it grows or goes away the direction of sunlight. So it is called negative phototropism. Second one is geotropism. Geotropism is movement of plant parts towards or away the gravitational force. That is called geotropism. Positive geotropism is root system. Negative geotropism is shoot system. Next, hydrotropism. Hydrotropism is the movement of plant parts towards water is called hydrotropism because hydro is water. Example, root system. Chemotropism is movement of plant parts towards the chemical signal is called chemotropism. Example of this is moving of pollen tube towards the egg. That is during the process of germination of pollen grain. The pollen grain from the male reproductive part stick on the stigma of female reproductive part by the process called pollination. What is pollination? Pollination is transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma. Pollen grain is present in the anther, which is in male reproductive system. Stigma is in female reproductive system. Through pollination, pollen grain come and stick on stigma, and it want to its nucleus gametes want to reach the egg, which is at the bottom. So the pollen tubes grow towards the pollen grain develops the pollen tube which grows towards the egg. So this movement or growing of pollen tube towards the egg is called chemotropism. I told chemotropism is a movement towards the chemical signal. This movement of pollen tube towards the egg comes under chemotropism. And so this is about chapter 7, control and coordination. And students, I already told for this holiday assignment you want to prepare 2 chapters, that is chapter 6 life processes and chapter 7 control and coordination. You want to prepare for the test, and now you can prepare. I hope you prepared already for the test and you will be ready for writing the test. And I plan to give you a self-test and in biology test note. Don't write in paper or rough note or any other thing. Please write this self-test in your biology test note. Test 1 is life processes. You study only the question answers from this chapter. Test 1 is life processes, chapter 6 life processes. There are 56 questions. That is test 1. Test 2 is chapter 7 control and coordination. There are 40 question answers. So before my next video you want to finish these 2 chapters. That is test 1 life processes, totally 56 questions. Test 2 control and coordination, totally 40 questions. You want to write self-test in front of your parents or your friends or your brother or sister. In front of them you want to write honestly. Please prepare seriously, write honestly and tell your parents or brother or sister to correct it, and you want to bring it to school and I will check that. So before my next video, finish 2 tests, that is test 1 and test 2 question answers. Thank you.